selves, and welcome back to My Life in Heels. I'm your host Tiffany Scott, and today's a special one. I have the absolute pleasure to sit down and chat to Charlotte Sometimes, a fabulous cross-dresser who's built a marvellous YouTube community with over 48,000 subscribers to her channel. She shares her journey with style, courage, and a whole lot of authenticity. And I know her story is going to inspire us all. We'll be talking about her early inspirations, how she discovered her love for dressing, the women she's modelled herself on, her rise on YouTube and what she's learned about self-expression, community and confidence along the way. So grab your favourite pair of heels, get comfy, and let's dive into this amazing conversation. So hi Charlotte, and welcome to My Life in Heels.
Hi Tiffany, and hi everybody. It's great to be here.
So let's start at the beginning. How did you start dressing?
We're going to have to go back a few years, back to when I was about 10. I was being babysat at my cousin's house. My younger cousin got coaxed into wearing a dress. He thought it was great and he was dancing around and stuff. And then the babysitter said, "Why don't you try a dress on?" And I was all against it, and I was thinking, no, I'm not doing that. And eventually I gave in. I put the dress on. I loved it, but I didn't want to show that I loved it, so I ran upstairs and I hid under the duvet until everybody left and I took it off. But after that, I was hooked.
So it started at an early age for you then, it was kind of a lifelong thing?
Yeah, but it was mostly just dressing, no makeup for years, probably about 20, 30 years. Eventually, by the time I got into my 40s, I thought I'm going to try my hand at makeup.
Doing it properly?
Yeah, and I've just got better since then.
When you started dressing, what were your sort of early inspiration? Did you see other people who wanted to copy them?
My mum always had a catalogue. I used to look through the catalogue sometimes and stumble onto the ladies section. And some of the women in there, they had nice figures, like hourglass figures. And I thought that's what I would like to look like. So
did you, as far as sort of fashion and things like that, did you have any icons or celebrities that you've looked at over the years?
I suppose you see women on TV, like Marilyn Monroe, where you had nice figures, I like an hourglass figure, and just classy dressed,
How did your journey go? I found it difficult when I first started this lifestyle. I hadn't a clue what went with each other. Then I had a spell where I was with somebody, and she kind of had decent dress sense, and I picked up a lot from her, and that kicked me off. But I needed something to kick me off.
I haven't really got any exes. I got married once, and that was it. But
that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. And she's quite good with makeup, My daughter's probably better. And just YouTube stuff really, watching makeup artists do stuff on there and think, well, that looks good, I'd like to do that.
What was the first moment where you saw yourself and you saw somebody different? It's like, oh, that's me. Can you remember when it was kind of like, wow?
Yes, I can, yeah. It was actually when I got my first ever proper wig, and I'd spent ages doing my makeup, I wanted to be perfect when I put the wig on. And then once I put that wig on with the makeup done, and I thought, wow, there she is. And that was from that moment on, I've always tried to sort of get that.
Well, the thing I hated was taking it off, and it was as if I was saying goodbye to a friend.
Sometimes you put it on and you think, God, I can't get nothing right today,
But I think a lot of the time it depends how you feel. Because if you're feeling happy, you've got a smile on your face.
Yeah.
People are more attractive, aren't they?
Yeah.
So kind of how would you describe your style?
Everyday wear, I like an everyday type.
Everyday left and print wear.
I'm out tonight. But mostly everyday wear, a nice summer dress and stuff like that. I like office wear. Office wear is quite nice. MILF.
Yeah, tough. I think I'm a bit. Well, I've got a couple of, I'm saying the everyday outfits, I've got some really smart trousers and that. I've gone out, you don't want to wear a too short skirt and draw attention to yourself.
That's right.
So I've got these nice wide leg trousers and everything, but you're blonde and you're in a nice outfit, and you think, well, you invariably get attention.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the things about being a blonde, and it's great at times and not so great at others. If you ever are trying to go on the radar, don't be a blonde. Or don't be 6'6". When you kind of started and did you look on kind of YouTube for inspiration? You were dressing, so did you look at actresses? Do I want to look like that? Or did you look at other dresses? Or did you just go completely your own way?
I looked at other dresses, and I looked at YouTube for a long time before I started even using makeup. I was thinking, oh, I like that. I like what they're doing there.
You just didn't make that final step to give it a go.
I didn't make that step, and then eventually plucked up the courage. I used a bit of my wife's makeup for a bit, but it wasn't right for me. I learned all that on YouTube. That the makeup has to be right for you, doesn't it? And so then I went out and bought some and started using my own stuff.
And makeup is the hardest thing. Like when you first start, if you've never done it before. I was at a club once. I popped into the toilet and there was a young girl in there and she didn't have any makeup on. She was like, oh, I wish I could do makeup like that. And I was like, well, if I can, you can. Yeah. I think everybody just needs to, give it a go. Yeah. It doesn't matter what you do in life, you'll never do anything unless you give it a go. With makeup, if it doesn't work, what's the worst thing that happens is you wash it off.
Well, there is one YouTuber, a proper girl there, Smith at Deepak. And she just makes it look so easy, there's no complication with it or anything. So I watched a lot of her stuff,
I think if you're shown properly, if it's explained to you and the penny drops, and then it's just practice, isn't it?
She was even just putting stuff on with her fingers, and then just getting a brush blended all in that you can't feel. It's fun, I think it's fun. That's what's a big part of the dressing is the makeup, and I just love doing it, And if I mess up, then I'll just wipe it off and do it again. But
you think back to the sort of girls in their early days, there wasn't before the internet. Where did they get the inspiration and that from, and where did they learn makeup? I did a video the other day where I mentioned a couple of influencers, and until I started researching it, I'd never come across them. But they were really big YouTube channels, like million plus subscribers. But when I started to research it, you think, God, there are trans people out there who have a massive following.
Oh, there is.
We're talking about YouTube. Charlotte's got 48,000 subscribers on her channel. What inspired you to sort of take your journey public and go onto YouTube?
Because I was dressing alone in the house, like most dressers do, and I was quite happy with my look and stuff like that, And I thought, wonder what other people would think of me, So I thought, I'll start a channel, put a video on it, see what kind of response I get, and if it's bad, I'll just never do it again. But I got a really...
Oh, like me starting another channel.
I got a really good response, and lots of people sort of complimenting us and stuff, and I thought, it mustn't be too bad. And it just went on from there.
That must have been quite a buzz.
It was a buzz. It took forever to get the first 500, I was like, but I wasn't bothered about the views or the subs at the time.
The interaction.
It was the interaction and just seeing what the feedback was.
I think a lot of girls at the start of the journey do it on their own.
Yeah.
And I know when I first started, I was like, I'm the only one like me. And then you go online and come across sites like TV Chicks, you think, God, there's loads of people like me.
Yeah,
you all wonder what you dress and you think, do I look nice, do I not? It's great when you get a bit of feedback.
Yeah, I was buzzing with the feedback, I did eventually start trying to monetize the YouTube, but it was too restrictive to what I was doing.
Wanting to do.
And it wasn't making me happy. I just do what I want now.
If you're not on YouTube, you don't sort of understand the pressure on that, but it's quite brave putting yourself out there.
It is.
I mean, it's what is good is the interaction with people, but to get you on here and talk about your journey, because you've got a massive following on for anybody on YouTube, and it's kind of inspiring for me, and hopefully people, what we say will resonate with people who think, yeah, I felt like that at that particular point. I remember when I was alone in my room and I wanted to share it.
Yeah.
If you are going through that, you're dressing at home, go online, but you can create a community and you can express yourself. You don't necessarily have to go out if your circumstances don't allow it.
Yeah.
Talking of which, what came first for you? Was it YouTube or actually going out?
YouTube came first, again because of the reaction I got and the support. I thought, I could go out. And it was another girl, Stacey, and she said, well, why don't you come to the LFF? And I thought, that's a big thing. But I committed this once, and I was very nervous. Once I was out there, it was amazing. And you do get a bit of an addiction for it, you're trying to get out there. And
I think the trick is to pick your venues when you first go out.
Yeah.
LFF's a great example because there's that many girls out, you kind of just blend in.
Yeah. You know, the last time I was there, we went to Sainsbury's. You know, only to put a lottery ticket on. But it was an experience, and it was great. You know, like you say, when you're at LFF, you know, you go out through the day, nobody bats an eyelid because there's so many of us about.
Where you go out to LFF, to Leeds First Friday, you're out in the centre of Leeds in bars, and it's not seedy, you're on a night out.
No,
it's a social night. Yeah. On your YouTube journey, when did you realise that you were starting to create a community? Because you look at the comment section and that, you obviously have people who watch you all the time. Comments.
There's some regular. I've got loads of regulars. You can comment all the time. A lot of them male, you know, they just see how nice you look and stuff like that. It's nice. And there's a few female ones with dresses, you know, who dress and stuff, and you get nice comments off them. And some of them have got YouTube channels and stuff.
I've found with this particular channel, it's more people who are in our community, so a lot of people can relate to what you're saying because they've been through it themselves. So what would you say is the best part of having a large audience, and what would you say is kind of the drawback?
Best part is getting the compliments, because that just makes a difference to your day sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Getting a lot of nice compliments and stuff like that. So I love that. I love that part of it. The worst part is answering all the messages, because I get hundreds. You know, you haven't got the time in the day to answer them all in one go. So if anybody out there is wondering, why haven't you answered me yet, Charlotte? Well, I will get to you. You know, it'll just take a bit of time.
Do you find that there's a pressure that comes with YouTube, either to look a certain way, or the pressure I find is to regularly come up with videos and ideas?
Yeah.
How do you cope with that?
I did go through the stage of, wow, you know, I need to make more different content, and just got myself all stressed out, you know, trying to make different content. But I just do what I do now. I get dressed, new clothes, old clothes. Sometimes with lingerie, I do like lingerie, and I don't worry so much now.
On my other channel, I used to do a try on and wiggle about a bit, and it was dead easy. On this channel, you've got to kind of script it, and it's a lot more work.
Yeah, it is.
It's a bigger commitment. This is a lot harder, but I get more enjoyment out of this channel than either one. I used to get a lot of comments from men on the other channel, where a lot of people in their lifestyle comment on this one, which is nice. I think we probably all go through pretty much the same thing. Doesn't matter what part of your journey you're on, whether you've just started dressing and you start to experiment with makeup, or whether you've transitioned. It's a kind of a journey, and it's not everybody goes on to transition, but at times we'll all recognise that we hit that part at some point. Yeah,
that's right.
I mean, obviously I spoke to Claire, and she'd gone full circle and had the whole transition in quite a short space of time. And obviously that's a sort of massive commitment. She lives female full time.
I don't think I'd want to, you know.
I don't think you have to.
No, you don't have to, no.
You know, you can be yourself. I mean, she did say it was the hardest path you can kind of pick. Do you find that your audience expects you to look a certain way now? Or do you just kind of go with the flow and do what you want?
I try to anticipate what they want. It doesn't always work. Because some of the videos that get a lot of views, I think that's not going to do anything.
Yeah, I've done that before.
And then some of the videos I put on, I think, well, that'll do well, and it doesn't do anything.
When you're looking at video ideas, you can do makeup, you can do how you started, there's certain things you can do.
Yeah.
And this is why they say that a lot of channels give up after 7 episodes, because it's hard to keep coming up with ideas. So if you've got any topics, please put them in the comments and we'll have a look at them. Through your channel, have you connected with other girls, and have any of them approached you for advice of how to progress?
You know what, I just send them straight back to YouTube tutorials, because everything you need to know is on there. But I do help where I can help. There's a few of them said I've inspired them to dress and stuff and to keep going, and it's nice to have that.
It's nice to connect with other girls. When I first started, I kind of wanted to appeal to guys. I wanted to feel as if guys appreciated me. I wasn't really interested in other people who dressed until I went out and met them, and then I had girl friends. After YouTube, your first event was Leeds. You said that was through another girl. What do you do now? Are you confident enough that you can just go, or do you still like to meet up with friends?
I still like to meet up if I can go with somebody. It's always nice to go with somebody. But I have been on my own and just met up with other girls that were there.
Yeah.
And they're a good bunch, you know. They just let you tag along, and it was a great night, you know. Like when I went on my own, and I'd done the same in Manchester. I didn't know anybody. I just went. and that was a great night as well.
It's funny enough because doing that you get to meet new friends and new people.
Yeah.
Where if you've got somebody to go with, you stick the same crowd all the time.
Yeah, it's nice.
So having gone out now and been out and met other girls, has that changed your outlook on your lifestyle?
Well, I know I can do it now, so yeah, I've got that confidence that I can do it. And I suppose it's changed that way, because in the past I thought I could never do that, you know, but now I can.
When I first started, you'd see people out and about, and I thought, wow, you know, how do they have the confidence to go out and do that? Oh, they look fantastic. But everybody has that starting point. Everybody thinks that. But then when you go out, you realise it's not as bad as you think it's going to be.
That's right, yeah.
And in most cases, it's really liberating, really enjoyable.
My first time out in Leeds, the hotel we were staying at, I had a baptism of fire, and I had to walk through the concierge, and there was a stag party there.
Oh God.
I thought, oh, I'm going to walk through these people, you know. But I just held my head up and walked straight out the door, and there was no bad comments made or nothing. I just thought, right, that's me. Happy now.
It is a strange lifestyle. Third time I went out, I had 2 club nights, and the first 2 were about 6 months apart. And then I went out in Newcastle with a guy, then we had a girls' night out in Newcastle. But we walked into this bar, and we got our drinks and we sat down, and this young lad came over and stuck his head over my shoulder and said, we're on a stag do, would you give the groom a lap dance? And I was, no. And so he went back, and then they all ended up coming over, and they didn't realise. And then it kind of, obviously then the penny dropped. The groom's uncle was there, and he was chatting away to us. Oh, he's nice and pleasant and that. And one of my friends said, he's trying to chat you up. I said, he won't be trying to chat us up, you know. And anyway, he was. And I was so sackless that I didn't realise either. So if you were talking to somebody who was at an early stage in this lifestyle, and they were feeling nervous and a bit unsure, what advice would you give to them?
Nobody actually cares anymore what you look like. And I realised that when I went out, you know, like, nobody actually cares. But Mike, to be saying that was Leeds. So if you pick your venues, you should be fine. And YouTube has everything on there you need to know to develop your style and your looks.
After that, it's just practice, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they've got it like from how to walk in heels, how to stand, how to, you know, everything's on there. Like you don't have to start off with 5-inch heels. You know, you can start off small and work your way up and stuff.
Or platforms. If you wear platforms, the heels look massive.
Yes.
But because the sole's quite thick, it's not the same angle.
Yeah, so it's probably
so
just a 3-inch heel, but it's like
it looks wild.
Yeah.
But it's like an illusion where if you wear like a 4-inch heel on a flat sole, you're a lot higher up.
Yeah.
And depending on where you're going as well. If you go, we've talked about Leeds. There's cobbles in Leeds, and you've got to walk quite a way.
Yeah.
So pick your shoes.
The dreaded cobbles. I always go with a block heel, actually.
I never go with a block heel. I've taken my shoes off in Leeds. I had these gorgeous shoes on, but they crippled us. Open-toed shoes are best for a night out. If you've got court shoes, your feet get really squashed. If you could go back and talk to your younger self before you started dressing and when you did, what would you say?
Again, not to worry too much about what people think. In my younger self, it wasn't like it is today. It was still quite underground, you know, growing up. It didn't really expand that, did it, till the 2000s and stuff.
A girl I know who's in the transgender community, and she was saying in the 90s she was out in Newcastle and she got approached with these 3 blokes who tried to beat her up, and she said there was a police car parked there and they just watched it all unfold. And I said to her, well, what happened? And she said, well, remember before I told you I was an army PT instructor in the Marines? I said, yes. She said, well, I beat them up. She said, but the police then got out and arrested her, and she was locked up. I've got another friend who's an ex-boxer, so she's kind of quite confident as well.
Handy, yes.
But we're not all like that.
No.
So before we wrap up, what's next for you in YouTube? Have you got any exciting plans or projects? Or is it more of the same?
Just more of the same from me. If you're happy with more of the same, that's what you're going to get. You know, I can't, unless I can get some footage outside when I'm out, you know, but it's always difficult when you're out.
Unless you've got a partner who's really willing to help you and film, it's difficult when you go out.
Yeah.
It would be nice to sort of maybe catch up with 1 or 2 people in Leeds and have a sit and chat to, like maybe it's 4 or 5 girls. So finally, what's the main thing that you love about your life in heels?
I just love to go from being a man to transforming and just seeing a woman in front of you.
Change.
It's just a massive change. It's such a buzz. It's it gives me a load of energy. When you're dressed, you have energy for hours.
So that was Charlotte, and wasn't that interesting?
Well, I hope it was interesting.
So a huge thank you. So I've loved hearing about Charlotte's journey, I hope you have too. From an early foray into dressing to this fabulous YouTube channel that she has. If you haven't already, make sure you check out her channel. I'll leave a link in the video description. And thank you, my loves, for tuning in. This podcast wouldn't be the same without you walking with me step by step. Until next time, keep strutting, keep shining, and never underestimate the power of your heels.